Kia ora everybody, and welcome to a new video from NZ Pocket Guide. Today I'm going to take you to the cultural and geothermal capital of New Zealand. That's right, it's Rotorua, and I'm going to give you my tips to make the most out of your time in Rotorua. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, the first thing that I would like to address when talking about Rotorua is that I would like to address the smell of the town. So a lot of people tend to criticize Rotorua and talk about the fact that the town smells bad. The town definitely has a significant sulfur smell due to all the geothermal activity nearby. But honestly, the smell is not that bad, and only within a few hours you get accustomed to it and you won't even notice it anymore. So don't feel like because you heard this kind of feedback you should shorten your time there. Rotorua has a lot to offer and we'll cover that very shortly. So definitely make sure to plan some time there and brush aside all the naysayers. Moving on to my next tip is that Rotorua is one of the best places to try hanging. One of the questions that we receive the most often here at NZ Pocket Guide is where can I try authentic Maori food? And it is quite hard in New Zealand to find a good hangi. But in Rotorua, all the village tour, the night village tour, are actually including a hangi with it, which is this traditional Maori food cooked underground. It's absolutely delicious. Just talking about it right now, I'm salivating. It's really, really awesome. And so Rotorua is the best place to try this because it's included in any of your night village tour that you'll be able to do. So if you consider yourself a little bit of a foodie, you definitely want to add Rotorua to your itinerary. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the geothermal features of Rotorua. There are a lot of different geothermal parks around Rotorua, from Tepuia to Oraki-Korako and many more. Now, all the geothermal parks tend to be compared by tourists. A lot of tourists are going, should I do this one or that one? And it's kind of a hard thing to do because every geothermal park has very, very different features, and all of them are extremely different. So it's not really a matter of which one do you want to do, but how many can you do if you're really into geothermal feature. There is not one that is better than another, and I feel like it's just a misconception that you have to compare a geothermal park. Just pick the one that has the feature that you really want to go to and forget about it, or just visit a multiple of them, so like that you make the most out of your tour in Rotorua. Okay, the next thing that I want to point out is that there is really a lot of free activities to do in Rotorua. There are fantastic hikes to do around the Redwood area. There are amazing spots to find hot water springs that are actually free. You don't necessarily have to pay for everything all the time. And just Rotorua, the Lake Rotorua itself, the lakefront, is fantastic to visit as well. So make sure that you load up on a lot of free activities, because a lot of time people tend to spend a lot of money in Rotorua. So let's just lighten those budgets a little bit by thinking about free activities there. We do list quite a lot on nzpocketguide.com, so you may want to browse that. The next tip that I have is about the luge. You probably heard about the luge. You heard that there is one in Queenstown, there is one in Rotorua, and in fact there is also one in Singapore. We have tried a lot of luge, and I have to say I think that the luge in Rotorua is the best one in New Zealand. So if you have luge on your bucket list in New Zealand, you may want to consider including it in Rotorua rather than in Queenstown, as the options there, in my opinion, is actually better. The track is just more fun to ride on. Speaking of more fun to ride on, Rotorua is actually home to one of the highest raft waterfall in the world in the Kaituna rivers. So if you are after some big check mark on your epicness itinerary in New Zealand, you may want to consider doing whitewater rafting in Rotorua and go down that massive waterfall. It is a lot of fun and quite scary. Finally, I want to talk about the food scene of Rotorua a little more. I know I covered the hangi already, but let's talk about other kind of food in Rotorua. Rotorua is home to a fantastic night market, which I absolutely love. So you may want to consider that. And also it's home to a street literally called Eat Street with amazing restaurants there. So if you consider yourself a little bit of a foodie, you may want to include a bit more time in Rotorua on your itinerary. Okay, that's everything for me today. There is much more on nzpocketguide.com, so you may want to check it out. And the whole team is joining me in wishing you the best time ever in New Zealand.